standing on your mat, feet hip width apart, toes pointing forwards. Tuck your bottom under a little bit, lower the ribs, broaden out through your chest, tuck your chin, lengthen up through the back of the neck. Take a nice breath in and lift the shoulders, breathe out and drop through the shoulders. Good. With your hands on your hips, just rocking forwards and backwards to the toes, to the heels, to the toes, to the heels. And I hope my fan isn't too loud for you all to hear. I've put it on a slightly lower setting, but it's straight at me, so I think it feels like I'll be able to manage. Great. Lovely. And taking the weight from side to side. So we haven't, unless you guys have been doing some Pilates in between, we haven't done any on here for a week and a half or so. So sometimes it is really good to really think about what you're having to do with the different parts of your body as you go. Taking the weight from foot to foot. Good. And squeezing one bum cheek and then the other, so squeezing that glute, squeezing the other glute, trying not to come too far over with the hips. It's not this movement, it's just taking the weight onto one foot at a time. Good, and then taking the weight forwards and backwards. As you come back, thinking about drawing in and tucking your bottom under as you come back. Draw in and tuck your bottom under each time. Good. And feel those lower abs naturally working when you take the weight backwards onto your heels. Great. Lovely. And then we're going to do that funny one where you take the weight round in a circle. So the heel, backwards, to the side, forwards. Good. So you start to try and work all of those parts of the body slightly more complexly, if that's a word. So you take the weight, use the glute, use your abs, use the other glute, and then it should be the back muscles a little bit. So you're taking the weight round, and then just to unwind, we'll go round the other way, backwards, side, forwards, other side. Good. Just as you're doing this, thinking about dropping down through the shoulders, drawing in the tummy, keeping your chest open. And just in through your nose, out through your mouth. Lovely. Okay, so lifting one heel up in front of you. Everything nice and straight. Swap and down. And this will stretch off those ankles and feet. I think in the heat, everybody's feet swell just a little bit, even if it's not something that you can see and perceive. Pushing each heel down to the floor, tightening through the thighs, squeezing the thigh and the glute. Good. But also trying to push the top or the bridge of your foot as far forwards as you can each time, so you're stretching out through there. Nice, taking some nice deep breaths as you go. Lovely. Okay, so both feet, again, hip width apart, toes forwards, knees slightly bent, bottom tucked under, chest nice and open, and then the palms facing up, just taking the hands out to the side and back in again. Your body. In this heat, that analogy of the soft piece of fruit isn't particularly nice, is it? Imagine something really squishy. So don't squash it between your elbow and your body. Now hands out, arms out, and really feel the fingertips stretch out. So pause there for a second and feel that position. Pushing the fingertips out to the side as far as you can, and then bring the elbows in and the hands back together. And go again. Hands out, arms out, push the shoulders down and the fingertips out. Elbows in, hands back together, keep going. Good, so continue with this same exercise while your knees are a little bit bent, your weight is a little bit back through your heels, and your bottom tucked under. And take some nice breaths as you go along. Lovely. Good, and a couple more. Last one. Good. On the next one, we're going to turn the palms down, palms up, elbows in, hands together. Good. Hands out, arms out, down, up, elbows, hands. Good. Keep going. Down, up. You should feel all sorts of things stretching around the arms as you're going with this. Good. One more. Good. On the next one, we're going to rotate the body. So hands out, arms out, rotate the body to the right, back to the front, elbows in, hands together. Lock those hips forwards. Rotate, front, elbows in, hands together. Keep dropping those shoulders down, feeling your posture correcting as you go. With that brief time off, it's good to really feel all of the positions and feel everything unwinding. Good. Last one. Lovely. With the right arm, stretch straight up. Bend your knees and bend your body to the side a little bit like that. Good. The hips should stay quite central, so they're not pushing off to the side. Your hips stay quite central. And then you scoop around, pause there with your hands together. Come around to the front, and then curl back up. And then you go the other side, so other arm up, down. Really try and push the fingertips up and the fingertips down, but don't sway the hips to the side. Good. Rotate around in the biggest circle you can do. Hands together, relax your head, around to the front. Good. And curl back up and roll the shoulders a couple of times. Alright, so we're going to stretch one leg back and the other leg forwards like that, up on the toes on this back knee. And then what we're going to do is have the hands up in front. So we're just going to balance in that position, tucking the bottom under with the palms together out at the front. And then we're going to just rotate around with the chest and come to the front. But you've got to hold yourself nice and stable up on that back toe. Rotate and to the front. Good. 3, 4, 5, 7, 8. Now just rest the hands on the hips and then that back heel goes down and comes back up. But lock out the front knee. 2, 3, 4, drawing up through the arch and the calf on that toe. Last one. Lovely. Step forwards. Step the other leg back, so both knees straight and pull up high on that back toe. Palms in front like that, staying up on that back toe so you're balancing, your tummy's working, everything's working. Rotate and to the front. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2 more. 8, and then rest the hands on the hips and drop down with the heel and pull back up. 1, keep the tummy strong. 2, 3, pulling through the calf and through the arch. 5, drop the shoulders. 2 more. Lovely, and come back in. So that will have worked the legs just a little bit there. Step them nice and wide, and just a nice gentle squat down and come back up. Drop the shoulders, tuck the chin, and lower and back up. Bottom tucked under, and remember you get the stretch through the inner thigh a little bit as you go down, but you also get a stretch through the hips as you squeeze your bottom on the way back up. Good. Keep breathing, dropping the shoulders, opening the chest. 7, Good. And then if we come all the way down and balance the elbows on the knees there, you can push your knees out to the side and stretch a little bit more, and just easing from side to side, it also works the quads a little bit there. Good work. Coming back up. All right. Let's take these socks off. I'm quite sure I've still got those on. You stand on the edge of your mat. Good. You're going to take a really nice deep breath in and breathe out, tucking the chin and curling all the way down to the bottom. Let your head go heavy, your arms go heavy, everything hanging, and bend and straighten alternate knees, one at a time. Good. Stretching down through the backs of the legs. Lovely. 3 times we're going to sit on the heels and then push back up again. Good. Sit on the heels and push back up. One more time. Lovely. Okay. And then just feel that stretch again with the arms and the head heavy. Curling halfway up, hands on the knees, stick your bottom out and push your shoulders down. Good. Curl back up and all the way back down again. Good. Curling up halfway. Bend your knees, drop the shoulders, arch the back that way. Curl up and back down. Nice. Coming down onto hands and knees. And then just very simply from this position, arch the back and tuck the bottom under and up. Arch the back, lift your head as well at the same time there. And then tuck your chin and curl the back the other way. Good, drop. And lift. Keeping knees and hands in the same position, push forwards and drop the hips just briefly. And then come back and sit on the heels and drop the shoulders down to the floor. Coming forwards and arch the back. Great. And come back and sit in the heels, and it's the shoulders or the armpits that are pushing down towards the floor. Good. There. And back. Lovely. So just on the hands and knees again there, we're going to stretch the right arm out, the left leg out, lift, down and back in. And then the other side, left arm, right leg, lift. Now then, very, very important for me not to forget, draw in that lower tummy and connect at the front. You can keep going with these, by the way, while I'm explaining. Push the ribs to the pelvis and don't let that back arch. Good. It's forever correcting this in classes. Letting the back arch as you lift the arm and the leg. People thinking that the aim of the exercise is to lift the arm and leg as high as they can, where what the aim of the exercise is to feel that block where the arm and the leg physically won't go any further unless you arch the back. You actually feel a lot more stable as well. So it's accessing those muscles at the front of the body and deep in the core to stop you arching your back. Lovely. From here, we're going to do that nice exercise with that right leg. You stretch out and you come across the body that way. And then you come out and across as far as you can the other way. Good, I'm having to bend a little bit to get round. I'm just going to move forwards a little bit. So across and out. And you allow your body to bend. So this is good for the glutes, but it's also good for those side back muscles that you're moving and stretching from side to side. Lovely. And then the other side. Good. Stretch out. And let's go that way first and then across. Good. So you allow your body to move and bend. Last one. Good. Now, to do a little bit of arms while we're in this position, we're going to do some box press-ups. So that's where you don't actually get yourself into that position there. You're just here and you're lowering yourself down to the floor. Move a little bit forward, down and back up. And actually what you get there on that kind of press-up is you get as low as you possibly can, and you get to really broaden the front of the chest, so you'll feel the nice stretch as well. So the elbows are going straight out to the side. You go as low as you can, pause, and then come back up again. Draw in that lower tummy. 2, 3, 4, 5. Good, we'll do 10. 6, so a little bit of work on the arms. 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so some nice thread the needle exercises in this position as well. You're stretching straight up and then pushing through as far as you can. Good, and then you push straight up and through as far as you can. Good. Straight up, and take your time, it's each part of the range. Pushing all the way through. Good. Stretching up and pushing through, because these are so nice. 2 more. Stretching up and round. And pushing through. Good. That hand on the floor and the other arm going straight up and push through. Again, just pause at each end of the range, pushing up and through. Lovely. Stretch up and through. Good. And then just a couple more. Up and through. Lovely. So turning over, sitting up tall, broaden the chest, arms out in front, and we're just tucking under, curling back, and then coming up tall again. So let's think about the posture of this one. Pulling up through the back of the neck, arms out in front, drop the shoulders, draw in the tummy before you start. Tucking under, curling back, scooping in, and pulling up tall. Drop the shoulders all the time, scoop in through the tummy. And then what we're going to do is pull the arms into the chest, scoop in the tummy, and then pushing open out wide with the arms, with the palms facing forwards like that. Tucking under, curling back, arms out in front, pulling up tall, and broadening out through the arms. Good. 3, 4, 5, 6. Draw in through the tummy as you come back up. 7. Lots of arm opening today. 8. Good. 9. And last one, 10. Lovely. From that position, we can come into the mermaid position there. Good. So what I want you to do is put this hand flat on the floor, up and over as long with that arm as you possibly can, and then come back down again. Good. So remember, this foot is hooked around to the side and the other foot is in the inner thigh there. So coming up onto your knees, up and over, really big stretch and over and round with that arm. Good. Drop in between as well, so that in between is really important. Drop the shoulders. Off we go again, up and over. Wonderful. And back down, keep those abdominals working. Pushing up and over, stretching as big an arc as you can, and come back down. And the last one, up and over. Brilliant. Good. Around the other way. Tucking the foot in at the front and the other foot around to the side there. Pushing up with the hips, stretching up and over and round, and come back down. Good. Drawing in your tummy, up and over and round. Lovely. And back down, drop the shoulders. Brilliant. Take some nice deep breaths as you go along here. Instinct tells you when to breathe on these exercises, when to breathe in and when to breathe out. Good. And last one, as long as you are still breathing. Lovely. All right, so we come down onto the back here. Good. So onto your back with your feet hip width apart. Ah, that feels nice. Tuck through the chin. Take a deep breath and broaden out through the chest as you breathe out. Another deep breath and drop the ribs as you breathe out. Your feet should be hip width apart, your toes pointing forwards, not too close to your bottom there and not too opened out there, so just halfway in between. Good. With that chin tucked, that's the one to come back to make sure you've still got it working. Ribs down, pelvic floor switched on. Draw in and up through there, and then you can start lifting and lowering one leg up and down at a time. For that scissors level 1. Good. Keep drawing in the tummy. The aim of the exercise is to keep those hips level, making sure the hips are not rocking from side to side. They're staying nice and level. Good. Level 2 is lifting the right leg up. Draw in the tummy, pick up the left, right down, left down. Continue. Right up, right down, left down. Constantly trying to draw in through that lower tummy. Keep breathing in a nice relaxed way. Your breathing shouldn't affect what's going on down in this area here. It's all into those outer ribs. Good. Now we're going to swap. Go with the other leg. Seamlessly trying to draw in through that tummy. So remember, a hand on your lower tummy there can really help, because it's when that second leg comes up off the floor that your tummy will want to push out. Good. Last one. Take a nice breath in and out as we move on to the next exercise of scissors. So both legs up and tapping the toes down, tap and lift. Just taking your time, drawing in through your tummy. Nice and slow and controlled today. Nothing too exertional. Good. So then we move on to the next level where we crunch, hold on behind the right leg, and then the right leg goes up and the left leg goes out. And then we come back in. Stay up in that crunch. One out, one up. Lovely. And keep going. Up and out. So it's a bit of a hamstring stretch at the same time. Drawing in through the tummy, making sure that that's still working. Making sure you're still breathing. And you can point the toes, or you can flex the toes if that feels better. Oh, that feels tight through those nerves through the leg. So I would probably suggest the pointing of the toe. Good, and that might get a little bit heavy on the neck with holding the head up. So let's come down with the head, one leg down at a time, and give the legs a little shake. So ready for the next one. Good. Feet hip width apart. Draw in through the lower tummy, the ribs are down, and just taking one knee sideways onto the outside of your foot and come back up. And then the other knee out sideways. Good. You use your glute to take the leg out to the side. You draw in through your tummy, keeping everything pointing forwards. Good. Keeping the chin tucked and the chest open. And your breath nice and relaxed. Good, good. Lovely. Knees and toes pinned together now. And you pick up your foot and take the legs over to the side. Have your hands on your ribs to keep the ribs down and keep them in the same position. So you pick up your knee, pick up your foot and roll the knees over to the side, and then you pull back to the center. Pick up the knee and the foot, the hip and the foot, and pull back. It's all in the pulling back to the center with this exercise. Draw in and pull back to the center. Good. Breathing. Feeling the back stretch, but don't put the emphasis on that. It's not necessarily an exercise to stretch the back. But if you keep everything nice and fixed, like I say, with the ribs down and rolling the legs over from side to side, then you'll get a nice stretch through the back, but nice stability as well. Stretching with stability. Lovely. So, both legs up to tabletop again. Make sure your toes don't go up too high. Both legs in tabletop. Draw in your tummy. Knees and toes start together, but then take one leg wide and pull back in. And take the other leg wide and pull back in. Those hips need to stay as stable as you can make them. Good. All that top half working nice and hard to broaden your chest, keeping the ribs down, keeping the chin tucked. If there's lots of nice hard work going on there, then everything seems to float a little bit more through the lower part of your body. Keep drawing in your tummy. Great. Now then, from there, knees and toes together, roll over to the side and pull yourself back in. Roll to the other side and pull back. Good. Again, thinking about using those abs to pull yourself back to the center again each time. Lovely. One more each side. Lovely. And legs back down again. Okay, so you should be feeling a little bit through those legs, but hopefully by taking it slow enough in this weather. Brilliant. Doesn't look like the thunderstorms are coming that are supposed to be here by 3, but anyway, ribs down, chin tucked. We're moving on to that one leg stretch. So if you push one leg out along the mat, pull the toes up, feel the stretch at the back of the legs, and then pull back in again. Take the other leg out. I'm just shuffling up a little bit. Take the other leg out, pull the toes up, stretch that leg out, and then pull back in. Good. So you should be able to slide along that mat, pulling the toes up, leading with the heel there as you pull the toes up. And try to squeeze the glute as well. Squeeze your bum as you stretch the leg out. Good. Staying strong through the middle. Especially as you swap legs as well. That's an important part as you swap legs. Good. One more each side. Lovely. And then it's going to be tabletop. Stretch away, pull the toes up again. Back in and down. Tabletop, stretch out, pulling the toes up. In, point the toes and down. Up, out, in, and down. So really working those feet and ankles at the same time. Good, keep going. It's a little bit difficult to coordinate the foot and ankle at the same time as you do this, but nice all the same. Good part of the exercise. Great. One more each side. And last one. Lovely. We've got to do the same exercise with our legs up in tabletop, stretching one leg out at a time. So both legs up, point the toes this time, stretch out and in, really working on drawing in the tummy. As soon as anything goes off in that direction, the tummy wants to push outwards. So keep drawing in through the tummy. Try and straighten the leg fully. Remember to make it a little bit easier, pushing straight up. Good. A little bit harder, pushing straight out. And for those of you who are hardcore, down to the floor and come back in. Good. 2 more. Lovely. And come back down. Okay, I think a few crunches now if we can. So hands behind the head. Make it a nice supportive wide grasp behind your head with your fingers spread like that, so you're really supporting the back of the head, and tuck through the chin, elbows nice and wide, drawing the ribs down to crunch. Draw the ribs to the hips at the front to crunch, keeping a little arch in the lower back as you go. Good. Shoulders away from the ears, elbows nice and wide. Great. I'm really trying to push into the crunch a little bit extra at the top without leaving the floor, so I don't want to launch yourself, but try and push into the crunch a little bit extra at the top. And if your necks will handle it, let's do a quick set of hundreds here. So tucking the chin, lengthening the back of the neck, stretch the arms down to the floor. You can do these with your head and shoulders down. In fact, do you know what today? Let's do that. That feels good. Tucking the chin, broadening the chest, keeping the head down and pulsing the arms up and down. You actually get quite a nice stretch through the arms as you push your hands down and away. Good. And then let's next, to make it that little bit harder, have both legs up in tabletop and keep going with the arms up and down, drawing in through the tummy. Good, but that is a nice stretch over the tips of the shoulders. Lovely. Bring your knees in to stretch. Okay. So we're turning onto our sides. I'm just checking the time, how we're doing. Oh, not too bad. Good, completely. So onto the side there, tucking the bottom hip back, tucking your ribs back. It's really important in these clam exercises to tuck things back, tuck your bottom under, using your lower tummy to do that. Push that top shoulder down and away from you, so everything nice and stable and strong before you even start thinking about lifting that top knee. Good. So that top hip is not rocking back. If you have the hand in the same kind of position as me on the top of the hip there, then that top hip is not rocking back. When the top hip rocks back, you lose access to these muscles here. Good, keep that breath going, keep the lower tummy scooped in. Try not to work too hard around your feet as well. Try and keep them relatively relaxed. Brilliant. Feet up, keep everything nice and strong, and continue. Lovely. Keep that top shoulder down away from your ears. Nice deep breaths still as you go. Lovely. Straighten out the top leg, bend the top knee, and have this foot hooked around your knee. Keep everything strong in your tummy as well. This hand's still on the hips, and see if you can lift that top knee. It's quite difficult. You might want to have that hand in front of you on the fingertips. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Lovely. Both legs out straight, toes pulled up and down with that top leg. Good. Drawing in through the tummy. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now I want you to keep that top foot up, and then the bottom leg comes up and down to join it. 2, 3, 4, bit dodgy on the bottom hip, isn't it? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Gorgeous. Right, the side. I'll point my fan down again. So I've actually got a bit of fan on me. Other side. Bottom hip tucked back, drawing in through the tummy. Hand on your top knee, and then lifting that top knee. Hand on the top hip, I should say, lifting the top knee. So everything working quite nice and strongly around here. I talk a little bit about creating a little gap underneath your waist there. I think that loses people sometimes, so I don't talk about it too much. But if you can create a little gap underneath your waist there, it means you're not just collapsing down with your body. You're holding it as you kind of would be if you were standing, perhaps. Keep those nice deep breaths going. Good. Now feet up, just to hip height there, but don't worry too much about how high they are. You can't get them much higher than hip height, I think. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Lovely. Now straighten out that bottom leg, hook the top knee around the back. Sorry, I think the heat's getting to me. Hook the top foot around the back of the bottom knee, hand on the floor there, and lifting the knee. 2, 3, draw in your tummy. 4, keep breathing. 7, 8, 9, 10. Both legs out. And just lifting that top leg, drawing in the tummy. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now keep the top leg up and the bottom leg to join it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Lovely. Coming back up and crossing your legs like so, just coming forwards into it with your elbows onto your knees. So that is quite nice to start with, just stretching in that position there. Breathing and just easing down there. Lovely. While we're in a nice cross-legged position, and that will still continue to stretch off the glutes a little bit there, taking the head over to the side, dropping that shoulder down. Push your other hand, so this hand, down to the floor a little bit. Good. Lovely, and over to the other side. Push that right hand, depends which one you started with, down to the floor, taking the head over to the side. Good. Now let's bring the legs out into a V. There. Arms out to the side. Drop the shoulders. And then we're coming forwards with the right arm. Forwards and across with the right arm. You see my left hand there behind me. Good. And then come out to the side. And then stretch across the other way. Try pulling your toes up. That will give you a nice stretch there. 3, 4, well done. 5, 6, up tall each time. 7, 8, hopefully a little bit further each time. 9, 10. Good, good. So let's come onto hands and knees to start with, and place your right foot on the outside of your right hand. So right foot outside of right hand. Turn your toes under on this back leg and stretch it out. Now with that right arm, we're leaving the floor, coming up and trying to bring the elbow down to the floor. Now that back knee can be on the floor if that balance is not so great. 2, 3, and it's actually a different stretch. 4, so not necessarily easier. 5. Lovely, other side. Back leg back, other leg forwards, and then stretching up and round. Do follow it with the head. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now while we're on this leg, I want you to stay on your hands and tuck that foot around, can you see there? And then come forwards to stretch into what we call, I think in yoga it's Pigeon Stretch. Not quite sure why this would be Pigeon Stretch. Maybe they have bent, twisted, damaged legs. Other side. Push however you like, bring that leg into position. Good. Onto your fronts. Coming down to the floor with your upper half, bending the knee and stretching down through your quad there. Everything pointing down, both hips in contact with the floor at the front, and bending that knee to stretch the quad. Good. And then the other side. Lovely. Stretches the foot as well. Don't be afraid to get hold of the foot. Some personal trainers think it's not the right idea to get hold of the foot. You have to get hold of around the ankle. But I quite like the complete stretch that you get holding onto the foot there. Good. Okay, coming up onto hands and knees. And stretch one leg out in front of you like that. Sorry if that was a little bit difficult to get into for some of you. You might want to come up first and stretch that leg out in front. And then point and flex the ankle there. Great. Lovely. Bring that one in, come up if you like, stretch the other leg out in front and come back. Point and flex at the ankle. Lovely. Dropping the shoulders, make sure you don't get hunched around the shoulders as you're trying to do this exercise. Great, bring that foot back, sit back onto the heels, arms out in front. Now walk them over to the right and try and sway the body back, banana the body back the other way. Rest your head. And walk back to the other side. And banana the body across a little bit to try and get that side stretch. Nice. Okay, not far off then here. Turn the toes under. Take the weight back, stretch the bottom up, and we're going to make the most of this position again a little bit. So bending and straightening alternate knees, stretching through the backs of the legs. Good. Bring the arms up behind you and over the top there to stretch. And that intensifies that stretch down through the backs of the legs, but also you get that stretch through your shoulders as well. Good. Coming back down. Good. And if you can walk your hands forwards, we'll just do one more in this position. I've missed this one out. Walking alternate heels down to the floor. We can't miss a downward dog out. Breathing in and out, dropping the shoulders down towards your feet. Good. And curling back up, all the way into standing. Roll the shoulders a couple of times. Great. So, I don't know about you, but that's made me feel a whole lot better on this hot day. I didn't think it would, even though this is me teaching it. but it is nice to stretch everything off and move nice and slow, get everything activated for the posture and things like that. So, thanks for joining me again.